My name is Tyler, and I started working for a big food producer after I graduated from college. I've been with the firm for 10 years this year. I still don't have a partner, but I believe I'm really attractive. I was totally inexperienced when I first started, but with the help of some excellent mentors and my own hard work, I developed into a section head who is currently in charge of a number of subordinates. I've never heard it explicitly, but I think I'm admired by my team. We frequently have social drinking sessions because our organization is quite conventional. I've assisted my colleagues with both personal and professional concerns, which may be the reason they appreciate me, but that's just my conjecture. I started to mentor the newbies in this capacity. I've educated a lot of new hires over the last several years, but this year there's one woman in particular who is really pushy. Tyler, I need a favor. One day when Ethan, the department head, approached me about this year's new recruits, this is how the conversation started. It was more of a request than a consultation. What's up? You're being quite formal all of a sudden. Well, it's about a woman named Madison Clark. Clark doesn't ring a bell, does it? The same name as President Clark's daughter. Could it be? Yes, she's the daughter of President Clark. President Clark's daughter? Does that mean she gets special treatment? No, President Clark insists on not giving her any special treatment and wants her to be treated like anyone else. Even so, it's going to be a bit difficult to deal with, isn't it? That's the thing. She's the pampered daughter of Mr. Clark, who's quite the doting parent. To put it bluntly, she's quite spoiled. The typical traits of a CEO's daughter. Apparently, she's very willful, always gets what she wants, and is moody, refusing to do anything she dislikes. That does sound troublesome. Wait, are you saying this because... Ethan smiled slightly and said, you catch on quick. We're planning to assign her to your department, and we want you to be her mentor. So it's already been decided. With your track record and your reputation for being caring, it was decided you're the best fit. So that's the situation. I'm counting on you. With that, Ethan patted me on the shoulder and left. Wait, hold on, Ethan left behind. I felt gloomy and headed to the break room to drink some coffee and gather my thoughts. Seriously, without even considering my opinion? Maybe I should refuse. The black coffee tasted more bitter than usual. But then again, I hadn't met her yet, and it's not fair to judge based on rumors alone. After finishing my coffee, I decided, well, I might as well accept this as part of the job and give it a shot, and threw the empty cup in the trash before returning to my desk. Then the day of the new recruit's arrival came. I saw fresh-faced new employees in their crisp suits all around. Their nervousness was evident in their faces and demeanor, which I found somewhat endearing. The anticipated new recruit was also assigned to our department. Anxious and hopeful about what kind of person she would be, I waited. But the start time had long passed, especially since new recruits were supposed to arrive 30 minutes early. Yet the recruit was nowhere to be seen. Ryan, the manager, was supposed to introduce her during the morning assembly but was flustered by her absence, leaving everyone in the department feeling uncomfortable. As her designated mentor, I tried to contact her, but she didn't answer her phone, leaving me at a loss. It seems something must have happened, I thought. Well, without her here, we can't do the introduction. For now, everyone, please start your work, Ryan nervously announced, a cancellation of the morning assembly. 10 or 20 minutes might be excusable due to train delays, but she didn't show up even after 1 or 2 hours. As lunchtime was approaching, an unfamiliar woman entered the room dressed in glittery, flamboyant attire with heavy makeup. Her appearance was quite out of place for a food company, drawing everyone's attention. Who is that? I wondered. Everyone there must have thought the same thing. Upon entering the room, the woman looked around, grabbed someone nearby, and said, "Where's my seat? I was told to come here starting today." Excuse me, but who might you be? Don't you know who I am? I'm Madison Clark. I was told to work in Sales Division 3. She said this quite loudly, so everyone in the room turned their attention to her. If you're with Sales Division 3, your desk would be over by that window. Is that so? With that, she confidently walked towards us. Is this Sales Division 3? Where's my desk? Ryan stood up and hurried over to her. Are you Madison Clark? Your desk is over here. I'm the manager of the Supply Management section in Sales Division 3, where you've been assigned. Really? Is that so? She said dismissively. And this is Tyler, who will be in charge of your training. Tyler, this is Madison Clark, who's been assigned to us, so I'll leave the rest to you. With that, Ryan quickly returned to his desk. I'm Tyler, assigned to guide you. I've been instructed to educate you on various work-related matters. Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too, she said, her dismissive attitude irking me a bit. But having been forewarned, I managed to keep my composure. There's something I want to say before we get to work. I began about to address her tardiness today, but her response was unexpected. Hey, I'm a newcomer, you know. Aren't you going to welcome me? Normally, you welcome a new person, right? Everyone's just ignoring me and fiddling with their computers, and the atmosphere is so gloomy here. I think she was expecting a welcome. I was so taken aback that I was at a loss for words. This was a level of selfishness beyond the rumors. However, reminding myself that this was part of the job, I steeled myself to proceed with the training. Madison, do you know what time it is? It's almost 12 o'clock. Huh? How would I know that? You don't know the time? I don't have a watch and my phone's battery dies, so I need to charge it. What is she saying? I felt like I had to re-educate her from elementary school. Just then, she said, "Hey, how long do I have to stand here? Where's my desk? Hurry up and show me." This attitude was almost too much to bear, and I involuntarily clenched my fists. Seeing this, Ryan quickly grabbed my arm, attempting to calm me. It seemed more like he was trying to save his own skin, rather than genuinely mediating the situation. "Haha, well then, I'll leave the rest to you," he said, returning to his desk as if dodging sparks. Somehow regaining my composure, I thought, annoying as it is, I have to get through this as part of the job, and got started with the actual training. For starters, your office supplies and business computer have been prepared. Your desk is next to mine. Store the supplies in the desk and set up the computer. You can understand how by reading this manual. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, what hassle, she sighed heavily and reluctantly began to organize and set up her workspace. The one who wants to sigh here is me. What a challenging new recruit I've been saddled with. Anyway, she's been assigned to our department and will be working in sales. I intended to start by instructing her on the job. I taught her how to negotiate with clients and the proper way to greet them, but the CEO's daughter showed no enthusiasm, saying, "Why do I have to do this kind of work? There's no way I can feel motivated with tasks like these." Sighing, I explained, "Our department is in sales. We need to sell our products to clients. Selling products to our clients is your job. Focus on the task at hand for now." She reluctantly received the training, pouting all the while. Despite her severe lack of common sense, I methodically proceeded with the training schedule. Finally, it was time for her sales debut. I chose a safe, long-standing client from my contacts to accompany her. It was meant to be just an introduction, so all she needed to do was smile in the background. But given her past behavior, I doubted she'd stay quiet. I repeatedly reminded her, "The client is very important. Please be mindful of your behavior," but I couldn't shake off my anxiety. The client, naturally curious about the new recruit, asked various questions, leaving me on edge and utterly exhausted. Somehow, we managed to get through the visit without any major issues. The person in charge on the client's side was kind and overlooked some minor indiscretions because she was a newcomer, which was a relief. However, feeling this exhausted after just one client meeting made me anxious about when she'd be able to stand on her own. Before I knew it was almost time to clock out. Sigh, why do I have to go through all this? I was lost in thought, pondering this. Suddenly, I realized she was nowhere to be seen. I looked inside the convenience store, thinking she might have gone in, but she wasn't there either. She was nowhere to be found, neither ahead nor behind us. We needed to go back to the office to prepare a report, so I wondered where she could have gone and tried calling her. Then she answered. "Oh, Tyler, you need something." "It's not that I need something. Where are you right now?" "We need to go back to the office and prepare the report." "What?" "But it's already past working hours, isn't it? So I'm on my way home in a taxi." Was I supposed to go back directly? Anyway, I'm heading home. "Hey." She just said what she wanted and hung up. What a display of selfishness. I was at my wit's end with patience. The next day, as usual, she came to the office late, and I caught her. "Come here." "What's the matter all of a sudden?" "Just come with me." Unfazed by my stern demeanor, she reluctantly followed with her usual attitude. I took her to the conference room and made her sit down. "Why did you leave on your own yesterday?" "Well, because it was the end of the workday and I don't want to do overtime, so I went home." "Listen, at least tell me before you go. If you disappear without a word, I'm going to worry." "Dash, you're scary. Isn't it obvious to go home after work hours without saying anything? It's common sense to inform before leaving. Don't you even understand that basic principle?" "Tyler, you're scaring me." "Of course, with your current attitude, you're not only failing in sales, but as a person too. What about yesterday? Why didn't you say anything to me? You should have said you were leaving, right? You'll end up isolated at the company, you know. Do you understand?" "Well, you don't have to say it like that. It's you who's making me say it." I let out my anger in a torrent of words. This exchange went on for about an hour. In the end, she fell silent, unable to retort. But after saying my piece, I noticed a change in her demeanor. Her mouth was turned down in a frown. Her eyes were dreary and her fists were clenched tightly. Yet she was still glaring at me. As she opened her mouth, she yelled, "How dare you lecture me? Just you wait," and stormed out of the room. At that moment, I wished I could punch my past self for agreeing to take on her training. Assuming she wouldn't return to her desk for a while, I went to the break room to kill time with a coffee. When I thought it was about time, I went back to my desk. Ryan approached me with a pale face, asking, "What on earth did you do to her?" "What do you mean?" "I was just giving her some educational guidance." She left crying. What? I couldn't believe it. She'd actually gone home. It was like shooting herself in the foot. Ryan went on about being gentler and reminding me she was still new, but when I retorted, "So Ryan, are you going to take care of her? She's a handful," he fell silent. The following day, Ryan informed me that President Clark wanted to see me. "President Clark asked for you to come," he said. "There's something important to discuss." Well, it's definitely not going to be good news, I thought, as the other employees were whispering among themselves. Everyone knew the background, and the fact that she was the president's daughter was common knowledge. Analyzing the information, the answer became clear. "Sigh, I understand. I'll go to the president's office for a bit." "Yes, please do." "I guess this is the end of my career," I thought. I felt like I had received a death sentence. Considering her personality, it's highly likely she complained about me to her father, President Clark. Given her personality, she likely exaggerated the story. I wondered if I could get by on my severance pay and savings, but would I even receive severance pay? Not if I'm fired for misconduct. With these thoughts, I headed to the president's office. My mood and steps were heavy. I knocked on the door of the president's office. "It's Tyler from the sales department," I said. "Oh, coming, Jess," came the response. "Excuse me," I said as I opened the door and entered. I saw Ethan and President Clark inside. "This is definitely the end for me," I thought, as I stood there frozen. President Clark said in a surprisingly mild manner, "Sorry to call you during work hours. Thank you for coming. Please have a seat here." Confused by his demeanor, I took a seat as suggested. Then President Clark suddenly apologized to me. "I'm sorry for everything. It seems my daughter has been causing you a lot of trouble." "No, well, yes," I replied. It was the first time in my life that President Clark had apologized to me. While I was still bewildered, President Clark, smiling kindly, began to speak earnestly. "My daughter has been through a lot," he started. To summarize President Clark's story, when he was starting the company, his wife worked tirelessly alongside him. However, her relentless efforts led to illness and hospitalization. Then it was just the two of them, Mr. Clark and his daughter, at home during her sensitive years. She craved her mother's affection, which led to her venting her frustrations on her father. Mr. Clark, busy with work and unable to give her attention, tried to compensate by fulfilling all her desires. This approach backfired, resulting in her spoiled behavior. He realized his mistake in parenting too late. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sympathize with her situation. She was taking out her frustrations with her father at work. It's what they call acting out, right? While her feelings towards her father were none of my business, I wish she wouldn't exercise her privileges within the company. "Firstly, I apologize for putting you in charge of educating my daughter," President Clark continued. "Honestly, I failed as a father." He apologized again. "However, I heard you were well regarded for your mentoring within the company. Although my daughter doesn't listen to me, she has started to change a bit since being under your guidance. This shows that interesting her to you was not a mistake." "Oh, okay," I replied, unsure of what to say, but it seemed the worst-case scenario had been avoided. "Given the circumstances, I may have caused you some concern, but actually it's the opposite. I want you to continue your efforts. Please be as strict as you need with my daughter without considering my position." "Yes, I understand. I'll do my best to meet your expectations," I said. It seemed President Clark realized that simply pampering his daughter was not in her best interest. "How about this? I leave everything regarding my daughter to you. No matter what she says, I won't interfere. So please continue to educate her strictly in your own way." "Yes, I understand. I'll do my best," I said. "Sorry to involve my personal matters, but I'm counting on you," President Clark said. The outcome was unexpected, and I felt a heavy responsibility, but it was a relief to know I was trusted with such an important task. I decided to change my approach towards her. The next day, when she casually strolled in past the start time as usual, I confronted her. "Madison, do you even realize what time it is?" "H. Tyler, good morning. It's 10:30, right? It seems I've been too lenient with you up until now. From here on out, I'm going to be thorough. Just be prepared for that." "Thorough? What do you mean? Are you even allowed to say that?" "Yes, I am. Say whatever you want." "First off, why are you arriving at this time? You did learn the company's working hours during your orientation, didn't you?" Yes. So what time is our company supposed to start work?" 8:50 a.m. "So you're telling me you adhere to the quitting time but not the start time? How does that make any sense?" "Well, I'm just not a morning person." If that excuse were valid, nobody would be here at 8:50 a.m. What time do you usually wake up in the morning? Currently at 9 o'clock a.m. I'm astounded. 9 o'clock a.m. is already past the start time. Sorry. Starting tomorrow, set your alarm for 6 o'clock a.m. I always make it a point to be at the office by 8:30 a.m. You should do the same. What? No way. That's impossible. Furthermore, from now on, there will be penalties for being late. Upon hearing this, her face turned bright red. She was clearly furious. Can you even do that, Tyler? Do you have the right? I do. It's been decided. I've been given full authority by President Clark regarding your case. This means President Clark can't intervene in the decisions I make. That's tyranny, abuse of power. Indeed, I'll make good use of my authority. Starting tomorrow, there will be penalties for lateness. If that doesn't solve the issue, I'll consider docking your pay. That's harsh. If you don't like the penalties, then work diligently. It's as simple as that. Yes, she reluctantly agreed to my terms. Today's tardiness can't be helped, but at least make yourself presentable. Our company deals with food, and all employees must maintain cleanliness. You're in sales. The client the other day might have been lenient, but not everyone will be. Start by dressing appropriately and improving your language. Muttering something under her breath, she seemed to be complaining. Do you have something to say? No, I understand. You can complain all you want, but watch your language. You're a working adult. Behave accordingly. Yes, I said, making a declaration of intent in front of everyone. However, seeing her still looking dissatisfied, I continued the lecture in a meeting room. First, I emphasized the importance of proper grooming. As employees handling food, it's crucial to maintain a certain level of awareness regarding hairstyle, nail length, and the basic common sense expected of working professionals. As I pointed out each issue, she retorted with complaints. What's wrong with my hairstyle? As long as it's properly set, and if my nails are neatly done with nail polish, that shouldn't be a problem, right? That's when I stressed the importance of maintaining a professional demeanor as part of a food company. Even if not directly working on site, the same level of cleanliness and hygiene is expected. She argued about individuality and personal rights, but I made it clear. Don't confuse selfishness with individuality. Change had to come from her or it would be meaningless. I persisted patiently. Grooming isn't just about clothes. Pay attention to your hairstyle and nail length too. Even if you're not in the production area, as employees of a food company, we all need to be mindful. Even my hairstyle and nails, but I'm not making the food, am I? It's a basic principle. Employees of a food company cannot afford to give off a bad impression. It's essential to maintain cleanliness, and part of that is proper grooming. I understand, she said, though she seemed unconvinced. I took her agreement as a positive sign for now. I decided to implement my new approach, but the very next day she was late again. As expected. Madison, what happened today? All I heard was, I'm on my way. Well, I just couldn't wake up early all of a sudden. I see. Understood. Then, as warned, I'll have to impose a penalty. Your punishment is cleaning the toilets, both men's and women's. Toilet cleaning. Don't complain. This is how it's going to be. But the cleaning lady usually does that. So what? Learn by doing it together. Come with me, I said, grabbing Madison's arm and taking her to the toilets. Then I handed her the cleaning supplies. However, she threw the cleaning tools down. I can't do this. It's impossible. Oh dear, you shouldn't treat the tools so roughly. A voice came from behind. It was the cleaning lady. Is this the girl Tyler was talking about? I see. She seems like she could use some toughening up. Yay, it's her. Sorry to bring this on you so suddenly, but she's quite a handful. Please take care of her. Don't worry, leave it to me. What's with this lady? Madison muttered. This is Evelyn, known to everyone in the company for her nurturing nature. She helps with the training of new recruits every year. She's even stricter than me. Go on, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Madison from sales. Pleased to meet you. Age, hi. Evelyn. Been in this job for 15 years. Born and raised in downtown New York. There's no one more meddlesome than me around here. I'll teach you how to clean properly. Just you wait. Evelyn laughed heartily. Everyone just calls her the cleaning lady, but Evelyn is much more than that. Madison was dumbfounded. Now pick up those tools. They're weapons, and we need to treat them with care. I've never cleaned toilets before. Well, there's a good chance then. I'll teach you thoroughly. You can't go home until it's done. So be prepared. Madison looked at me desperately. That's how it is. You might not be useful at work, but you can still contribute here. Learn from this and reflect on your actions, all right? Yes. All right. I'll lend you a spare apron, so get ready. Hurry up, or I'll splash water on those pretty clothes. Thanks for your help and sorry for the trouble I sent to Evelyn. Don't mention it. I went back to work where I couldn't focus, worrying about how things were going. About 30 minutes later, I went to check on them. Look, if you just draw circles like that, the dirt won't come off efficiently. You're not efficient at all. If you keep this up, we'll be here till morning. Don't you know how to clean? Make sure to get the brush into the corners. Panting, Madison nodded. Like this. Yes, that's better, but you need to put more effort into it. I can't anymore. My hands are too tired. But come on. You've only done 2, and there are 3 more to go. I'm in my 60s, and I do this on every floor every day, and you're already giving up? Kids these days, you should be thanking Tyler, you know. No, he's taking you seriously. That's why he's doing all this. If he had given up on you, you'd have been out on your ear by now. Really? Why do you think he's bothering with you despite all the trouble? Like me, he sees something in you and wants to help. Really? You're loved, you know. Haha. I was about to say something, but seeing her genuinely work hard, I changed my mind. Sweating and panting, Madison was truly trying, showing the effort of someone who was really striving. Punishment was necessary after all, and it proved to be effective. From the next day on, her tardiness decreased significantly. The cleaning lady confirmed she's really capable. She's just been slacking and not showing her true potential. If she's nurtured properly, she could really shine. It was during a session I held on negotiating product delivery prices, with Madison as the participant. Unusually attentive, she listened seriously and took thorough notes before approaching me. Tyler, thank you for today's session. It was very informative. Hey, you're surprisingly cooperative today. Did you eat something strange? What are you talking about? I'm being serious here. Huh, sorry about that. So what's up? Well, what is it? Why do you bother with someone as selfish as me without getting frustrated? It's part of the job. Plus, I want you to become independent quickly. That's why I'm holding these study sessions. So she was aware of her own selfishness. That realization struck me oddly. Do I bring any benefit to you by becoming independent? Of course there is. What would that be? For starters, I'd be free from unnecessary stress. Come on, answer seriously. Well, if I can entrust work to you, it means less work for me. Madison looked somewhat convinced and remarked, Tyler, you're kind of a softie, aren't you? Just like that cleaning lady. What kind of backhanded compliment is that? Just when I thought you'd become more straightforward, you're still as cheeky as ever. That's just my personality. She turned away in a huff and left the room. Well, her growth was undeniable even if she remained cheeky. In fact, I had started entrusting her with some clients. Checking in with them, I generally received positive feedback. Reflecting on her attitude on the first day of joining, it felt strangely moving to see how much she had changed, almost like a different person. Despite the challenges, I'm glad I didn't give up and continued to mentor her. I must also express my gratitude to the cleaning lady who helped look after her with me. And then 5 years passed. My guidance at that time was recognized and I was promoted smoothly to section chief. President Clark even mentioned that part of my promotion was a thank you for that time. Madison had become a supervisor with her own subordinates. I used to think she was just a prickly person, but looking closer, she had her charming points. However, to her subordinates, she had become a fearsome boss. Can't you do it yet? You won't last long in our company with that attitude. If you're going to be late, call me. Don't just send an email, I won't accept it. Look, dressing up is fine, but remember, we're a food company. Absolutely no long nails. Make sure they're trimmed before you come in. She sounded just like me in the past, guiding her juniors. That stubborn newcomer really changed. Well, she was always bold with her words. I mused over these thoughts. Tyler, we need to leave soon or we'll be late for our appointment. Right. Just give me a moment to get ready. Caught daydreaming, I ended up being scolded by Madison. Then we set off together. You've changed, haven't you? Well, I guess my efforts paid off. Yes, thanks to your guidance. But isn't your tie a bit loose? You should know better appearance is important for a food company employee. She then tightened my tie for me. Sorry about that, but you still talk too much. What are you saying? Have you reviewed today's materials? You're the one presenting, remember? She's still as talkative as ever, but she remembered my birthday and gave me a tie as a gift. It was the first time I wore it today, and she seemed to have noticed. About that tie, Jay, just thanks for that. I always get scolded for my poor fashion sense. With this, even you can't complain, right? Geez, that's not what's important. Then she murmured something beneath her breath, such an oblivious, but I was unable to fully understand the remainder. What does she say? Perhaps we should all rejoice if today's presentation goes well. I rushed to the client's place after having that thinking.